Hi, good morning. My name is Tess. Welcome to yoga today. We are going to get started lying down on our back here. So go ahead and make yourself comfortable on your back. Either find your mat, a towel, blanket, a space on carpet, whatever feels good for you today. We have a couple options. We can either leave our knees up towards the ceiling. We can extend those legs out, whichever feels more comfortable for you today. And then our arms are just going to be at our side. We're going to bring our palms facing towards the sky. Just letting ourselves settle into this position. And when we're ready, you're going to go ahead and start closing your eyes softly here. Just starting to let yourself relax. Letting everything we have to do leave our mind for the next 45 minutes, knowing that it will be there when we come back. But giving ourselves this 45 minutes to rest our mind and our body, to recharge our mind and body, to come back stronger, more productive, with clarity in our mind. Bringing your focus in to the four corners of the room. Thinking about what surrounds you. Noticing the noises, the smells, the temperature. And now bringing your attention to the four corners of your mat. Feeling your body against the ground. Feeling the clothes on your skin. And starting to bring your attention to the inside of your body. Noticing if there's any tension, any areas of stress that you'd like to focus on today. Or maybe an area in our body that's a little bit more delicate, that we want to be a little bit more patient with today. And then starting to pay attention to our breath, flowing in and out of our body. Trying to focus that breath, coming in through the nose, warming that breath, and breathing out through our nose or mouth. Good. Go ahead and place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Feeling your chest and your belly rise as you breathe. And starting to picture our lungs in three sections. One at the bottom where our bottom hand is, one in the center between our hands, and one at the top beneath our top hands. As we breathe in, we want to fill from the bottom to the middle to the top. As we exhale, we want to release first from the top, then to the middle, and then the bottom. Focusing on that breath here. With our next breath, we just let our arms fall down to the side, relaxing, returning to our normal breathing here. If your legs are up, go ahead and let those legs extend, reaching out. Good. And as we inhale, our hands come up and around, our arms at the side of our head, and we stretch. It's like a nice good morning stretch here. Starting to wake up that body. And we bring our hands back down to our sides. Good. Starting to use imagery with our breath here. We're going to focus on breathing into our legs all the way down to our toes. So as we breathe in through our nose to our throat to chest, into our abdominal area, through our hips, to our upper legs, to our knees, into our calves, through our ankles, through the arches of our feet to our toes. Now as we exhale, we want to pull that breath back out from toes to arches to ankles to calves, to knees to upper leg, through the hips to the belly, up to the chest, to the throat, out the nose or mouth. Breathing in strong enough for that breath to travel all the way down to our toes. And exhaling strong enough to pull that breath back out. As we breathe in relaxation. We breathe in positivity. We breathe in reassurance. And as we exhale any tension, any stress, any negativity, any doubt. Using that breath to warm up our body. And on our next inhale, we move on to our arms, breathing in through our nose to our throat, to our chest to shoulders, to upper arms, through the elbow to the forearms, through the wrists to the palms, all the way to our fingertips. And as we breathe out, we exhale that breath from fingertips to palms to wrists to forearms, to elbows to upper arms to shoulders, out through the throat, up through the throat into the nose or mouth. Once again, here, breathing strong enough for that breath to reach our fingertips and exhaling strong enough to pull that breath all the way back out. Breathing in relaxation, breathing in positivity, breathing in reassurance. Exhaling any tension, any stress, negativity, or doubt. Good, and on your next exhale, we're going to go ahead and bring both of our knees up towards the sky. Feet are planted onto our mat. Arms can stay wherever they're comfortable. You're welcome to bring them on your belly, leave them to your sides. We're going to start to move into a pelvic tilt, starting to warm up our muscles a little bit further. So as we inhale, we're going to ground our low back and just lift off the very tip of our tailbone, the very bottom of our spine. As we exhale, we're going to release that, just moving that tailbone, a slight small movement, but starting to feel those abdominal muscles start to engage. Maybe if our hands are on our belly, we feel those muscles. Trying to keep the knees in line with the hips and the toes. Trying to avoid our knees falling out to the sides or falling in. Good, and as you feel comfortable here, our next step, we inhale and curl the very end of our tailbone. We begin to push through our heels, lifting our hips off the mat, squeezing our glutes, keeping that pelvic tilt. And as we exhale, we slowly lower that spine one vertebrae at a time, ending with the release of that pelvic tilt. As we inhale, we come into a pelvic tilt. We peel our spine off the mat one vertebrae at a time, keeping the abdominal muscles engaged, keeping those glute muscles engaged, holding for just a moment at the top before we release back down. Nice and controlled here. And one more time. Lifting, keeping those abdominal muscles engaged, keeping those knees in line with the toes, and we lower onto the floor. Good. We're going to go ahead and let our knees fall side to side, windshield wipers here. Good. Loosen out if there is any tension in the low back. Good. We'll go ahead and bring those knees back. If it's more comfortable, you're welcome to extend your legs out. On our next inhale, our arms are going to come towards the sky, reaching straight up. We reach those shoulder blades off the back. And as we exhale, we're going to let those arms continue and fall back to the sides of our head, reaching back behind us, stretching again here, just like we did a moment ago. And as we inhale, our hands come back up towards the sky, and exhale, they return back down to our sides. We're going to continue this motion here with our breath. As we inhale, our arms rise up. As we exhale, they meet the ground, alternating from the sides of our head to the sides of our body. Trying to find one nice smooth motion here. Creating this arch, this rainbow motion with our hands. Finding movement in our shoulders. Good. Continue where you're at, and the next time that your hands meet the sides of your mat, go ahead and let them rest there. Taking your time to get back to this position. Good. Once we're there, go ahead and fall either to the left or the right side. It doesn't matter which. We're going to push ourselves up into a seated position. Good. We have two options here. We can sit with our legs crossed, or we can sit with our feet straight out in front of us, whichever feels more comfortable for you. If there's something different that you would like to do as well, go ahead and do so. Good. We're going to find a nice good posture here. We're finding the bones underneath our hips and our sit bones. We're rocking side to side to feel those. We want to plant those into the ground. We're nice and tall in our spine. We're long through the back of our neck. Our shoulders are down and back. Our core is engaged. We want to focus on our stability while we're seated to come from the front of our core as opposed to the back. Coming in and finding our breath once more here. Good. And as we inhale, our hands are going to come up around. Exhale, we're going to start to the left side. We're going to plant that left hand. Our right arm's going to come up and over. We're still keeping our chest open. We're keeping space around our ears. And we're going to slowly crawl that left hand out to the side. We're still keeping our sit bones on the mat. So that's going to determine what a good amount of stretch is for you, for your body. Keeping those sit bones, making sure that we feel a stretch, but we're not too uncomfortable. Good. Maybe we bring our gaze up towards the ceiling. So making sure we're keeping those shoulders pushing away from our ears, keeping that space around our head. Good. Maybe we crawl that left hand out just a little bit further again, keeping those sit bones on the mat. Good. So as we inhale, we're going to engage our abdominal muscles. We're going to use our right side to bring ourselves back up nice and strong. And as we exhale, we're going to come to the right side. Same deal here. We're keeping that arm up and above. Our right arm crawls out as much as comfortable, keeping those sit bones grounded into our mat or the floor. Again, feeling welcome to bring that gaze up towards the sky. Noticing that you might have a little bit more or less flexibility on one side than the other. That's totally normal. Just making sure we balance out that we're treating both sides equally, giving them the proper stretch that they need. Keeping that chest open, keeping that space around our ears. If at any point you want a deeper stretch, crawl that right hand out just a little bit further. And using our side and our abdominal muscles, we inhale and we bring ourselves back up, arms come up. And exhale, we're gonna plant those hands in front of us. We're gonna keep a nice flat back here. We're keeping that chest up. We're coming forward gently. Good, we're flat through that back. We're not gonna quite collapse that back yet. Our chest is open. Our gaze is forward. We take a big deep breath in. And as we exhale, we fall forward as far as comfortable for us. Maybe our forearms find the mat. Maybe our forehead finds the mat. And we can always stack one fist on top of the other and rest that forehead on top of them. Good. Finding a level of stretch that's good for you here today. As we inhale, we roll from the bottom of our spine all the way up to our neck, rising back up. If our legs are crossed, we're gonna uncross and recross from the opposite side. So if our right foot was closer, now our left foot should be closer. If our legs are straight out, you're just gonna stay right as you are. As we inhale, we find our nice tall posture. And as we exhale, we're gonna come forward, keeping that back nice and flat here once more. Chest is open. Focusing on our breathing here. Taking a big deep breath in. As we exhale, we collapse forward, crawling those hands out as far as we're comfortable. Continuing to breathe here, focusing on that breath. Inhale, we roll up from the base of our spine, the top of our spine. Good, we're gonna go ahead and swing our legs around. We're gonna meet in tabletop position. So we've got our hips above our knees. We've got our shoulders above our wrists. Our fingertips are spread wide, distributing that weight. Good, we've got a nice flat back here to start as our base here in tabletop. And on our next inhale, we're gonna start moving through cat-cow. So as we inhale, we're gonna open up that chest to lower that belly, tailbone and chin rise up. And as we exhale, we start to arch that back, tucking that tailbone under, pushing through the ground, separating those shoulder blades, chin comes in, exhale, releasing that air, cat. Inhale. Once again, we come into cow. And exhale into cat. Moving through at your own pace here, continuing your breath. Waking up our spine. Good, Good, and then our next inhale, we're gonna come to a nice flat back. We're gonna curl our toes under, we're gonna meet back into downward facing dog. Go ahead and move there if you're already comfortable with it. With our downward facing dog, our fingertips are spread wide. We've got a slight bend in our elbows, activating those upper back muscles. We're pushing our chest back towards our knees. We've got our shoulders away from our ears, so if we feel really hunched up, we want to move those shoulders back away from our ears. Our hips are lifted up and back. We're bringing our heels towards the floor, whether they touch or not, does not matter. We can come in to walk the dog, alternating, bending those knees, reaching one heel closer to the floor, and alternating with the other. Good, we'll go ahead and find stillness here. And on our next breath in, we're gonna take our right foot, we're gonna reach it up towards the sky. As we exhale, we're gonna bend that knee, pointing our toe. We're gonna open up our hips to the right, coming into a nice hip opener here. Inhale, we're gonna rotate those hips back forward. And as we exhale, our gaze comes forward, our knee swoops through, and we plant our foot forward, coming into a low lunge or a runner's lunge. Having that option to drop that back knee. Good, we're framing our front foot, making sure that our knee is not past our toes here. Good, we're framing that front foot, and what we're gonna do next is go ahead and drop that back knee if it's not already. Flatten that foot if it's more comfortable. You're welcome to leave those toes up. We're gonna move both our hands to the inside of our right foot. We're gonna step that foot out just slightly. We're gonna lean a little bit deeper into the stretch, hugging our side with that right knee, so it's hugging in towards our right upper arm and shoulder. Good, for a deeper stretch, we can come down onto our forearms, coming into lizard here. Still hugging that knee in towards our shoulder. Pushing those hips forward and down. Good, if we're down on our forearms, we're gonna bring ourselves back up onto our hands. Stay here for a moment longer. Good. We're gonna go ahead and take that right hand, so we're gonna place it outside of our left. We have the option here to either raise that back knee off the ground or leave it right where it is. We're gonna plant our left hand inside of our right foot. We're gonna open up towards the right. Our right hand reaches towards the sky, palm is open, fingers spread wide. Chest is still open, shoulders are away from the ears. Bringing our gaze up towards the ceiling. And exhale, we're gonna plant that hand back down. We're gonna step back into a plank and then come up into downward facing dog. Feeling that stretch in your hamstrings, feeling a difference between your right and leg right now. Maybe coming in to walk the dog again. Good, we find stillness as we inhale. Our left foot now comes up towards the sky. We bend that knee and we open up our hip to the left, pointing that toe. Breathing through here. On our next inhale, we rotate those hips back forward. We bring our gaze forward. Exhale, we step our foot in front. Coming into a low lunge, a runner's lunge. Pushing those hips down and forward, having that option to bring that back knee down to the ground if that's more comfortable. Good, and if our back knee is not already down, we lower that back foot, either keeping our toes curled or planting our foot, whichever feels better for your knee. We bring our hands to the inside of that left foot. We hug that knee in towards our shoulder. Having the option to stay right here, or we can come down onto our forearms, still hugging that knee in close to our body. Hips are pushing forward and down. Breathing here in lizard. Good. If we're down on our forearms, we bring ourselves back up. Good. Holding here for another moment. We go ahead and frame that front foot again, bring that left hand to the outside of our left foot. We either leave our knee down or bring our knee up and we rotate to the left, opening up. Palm is spread wide, arm is reaching tall towards the sky. We're keeping that chest nice and open here. Exhale, we come back down. We're gonna step our right foot forward this time, coming into a forward fold. Yeah, we put a slight bend in our knees, resting our chest as close to our thighs as comfortable. Good, and if we're able, we lift those hips up towards the sky, straightening our knees as much as we're able to, but leaving whatever bend helps us feel the most comfortable. For a deeper stretch, we can wrap our hands around the back of our calves, our hands meeting towards our Achilles, above our heel. Good. As we inhale, we lift halfway to flat back. And exhale, we forward fold once more. Good. We're going to come to a nice wide stance here. So we're going to kind of heel toe, step our feet out nice and wide. Good. And what we're going to do first here is come into this forward fold. Just let our body come down and hang here for a moment, letting our head and neck relax. Good. For a deeper stretch here, we walk our hands back through our legs behind us. Good. If our hands are back, we're going to bring them back onto the ground. We're going to shift our weight, bending our right knee. We're going to shift to one side, starting to feel a stretch on the inside of our left thigh. Pushing through the outer edge of both of our feet. We're trying to keep that right knee behind our toes, shifting those hips over and back. Inhale, we rise up. Exhale, our hips shift to the other side. Pushing through the outer edge of both feet. Inhale, we come back to center. We're gonna move with our breath here. As we exhale, we're gonna go to one side. As we inhale, we're gonna come back to the center. Good, so as we breathe out, we move to the right. Inhale, we come center. Exhale, we come to the left. Inhale, back to the center. Good, following your own breath here, maybe finding a little bit deeper of a stretch each time we move to a side. Good. Remembering to push through the outer edge of that foot, putting a little bit more weight into the heel or the back of that foot. Good, just moving side to side. And in our next inhale, we come and find a flat back. We're gonna heel toe our toes in. They're gonna stay a little bit wider than hips distance apart. And as we exhale, we're gonna lower our hips towards the ground, coming into a yoga squat here. Good, finding what's comfortable for you here. If you need a little bit more assistance with your hands, go ahead and do so. And when you feel ready, if you feel ready, we can bring our hands up into prayer. Coming nice and tall with a flat back. Our toes are turned out slightly here. Good, our chest is nice and tall. Coming back to our breath. Good, if you have a blanket or a pillow, you're welcome to sit that underneath your hips. If you have a yoga block, that can be a good way to assist you in this pose. Good, we'll go ahead and plant our hands. We're gonna lift our hips back up towards the sky, coming into a forward fold. Good, feeling that release in the hamstrings here. Good, we're gonna come into ragdoll here. So we're gonna grab onto opposite elbows, making our feet just a little bit wider, bringing a slight bend into the knees. Our arms, our neck, our head, everything relaxes as we gently sway side to side. Releasing any tension from our spine. Good, and on our next inhale, we'll release our arms. We'll heel toe our feet back to hip distance apart. As we inhale, we'll come to flat back. Exhale to forward fold. Slight bend in the knees. We're gonna hinge at the hips. Inhale, flat back. Arms come up and around. And exhale, hands come out to the side. Standing in mountain pose. Good, giving yourself a moment here. Coming back to our breath. Find a good posture here. As we inhale, our hands are going to come up and around. Exhale, we bend the knees, hinging at the hips, flat back. We swan dive down. Stepping our feet back into plank. And exhale, we drop our knees, coming back into tabletop. Swaying your hips side to side here. Loosening up those legs a little bit more. Good, and then our big toes are gonna meet. We're gonna bring our knees a little bit wider towards the edges of our mat. And as we exit, we're gonna come back into a child's pose. With our child's pose, we've got our hips reaching back towards our heels, maybe touching, maybe not. Arms are reaching forward. We're trying to let those shoulder blades melt to the sides of our mat. Our forehead is resting on the ground. And our whole body's relaxed. Another option, if we want to keep our head above our heart, we can again bring those hands into those fists, resting our head here. If this is more comfortable for you. Go ahead and crawl your arms over to the left side of the mat. Pushing back through your right hip, we should feel the stretch along our right side. And as we inhale, we crawl those fingertips back to center and over to the left side. Same thing, we're reaching out with that left arm, reaching back with that left hip, feeling that stretch through our left side. Inhale, we return back to center. Good. And we're going to rise back into tabletop. We're going to actually come down onto our forearms and bring our feet back, coming to lie on our stomach here. Good. This next pose I'm going to show you on the floor and also stand and show you on the wall to see a little bit better. Our hands are either going to come out in front of us or to our sides. Either chin is going to fall and meet the mat. We're going to bring our knee up towards our side, feeling a nice stretch in our hip. So if I were standing or on my mat to show you, I have my leg up on the wall just like this. Coming into as deep of a stretch as feels comfortable for you. Trying not to rotate those hips too much. Good. Sitting in this restorative pose for just a few more breaths. As we exhale, we let that leg extend back behind us. We'll go out to the other side, bringing that knee up. Arms are either out to the side or straight forward. Head is turned, chin on the mat. Our foot is flexed. Breathing through the stretch here. Adjusting your leg as you need to. And exhale, we're going to reach that leg back behind us. Good. We're going to come up. We're going to come into Sphinx pose, or baby Sphinx. We're going to bring our elbows underneath our shoulders. Our palms are flat on the ground. And as we inhale, we're going to push those shoulders down and back. Trying to use our upper back here, trying to keep that low back nice and relaxed. Maybe we wiggle our hips side to side a little bit, loosen up that low back. Good. Trying to keep that length through the back of our neck. Good. And if you feel comfortable and you'd like to, we can bring our hands underneath our shoulders. Again, we want to come into that pelvic tilt, making sure our abdominal muscles are engaged, protecting that low back. We can push ourselves all the way up, coming into a cobra. Shoulders are down and back. We're trying to activate that whole upper back here. Good. If we need a slight bend in our elbows, do what feels comfortable for you. No need to lock out those elbows all the way. Feeling the stretch through the front of our spine. Feeling the stretch through our abdominal muscles. And exhale, we slowly lower back down to the mat. We push ourselves back into a child's pose. Inhale, we move into tabletop. And we're gonna come into a cat pose here, and we're just gonna hold here, countering that last stretch, countering that sphinx or that cobra. Good. Inhale, we come back to flat back. We're gonna go ahead and sit back onto our feet. We're gonna turn ourselves around and make our way to our back to prepare for our final relaxation, Shavasana. Just as we started the class, we have a lot of options here. We can either leave our knees up towards the sky, we can extend our feet out. If you have a lot of tightness in your low back, you can crawl your feet out to the edges of your mat, or if you're not on a mat, a little bit wider than hips width apart, and let your knees fall in together. You should feel some release in your low back. Our hands are towards our side, our palms are facing up towards the sky. We begin to prepare ourselves for the end of our practice. Letting our eyes close. Letting our breath start to flow naturally here. Letting your mind wander as it pleases. And coming into a full body relaxation. We start by thinking about relaxing our toes, relaxing our feet, our ankles, relaxing our calves, relaxing our upper leg, our quadricep muscles in the front, our hamstrings in the back, the muscles on the sides and our hips, relaxing our glutes, relaxing our core muscles we don't use for breathing, relaxing our fingertips, letting them curl in naturally, relaxing our palms, our wrists, our forearms, our upper arms, our bicep and tricep muscles, relaxing our shoulders, our upper back, our neck, releasing any tension from your jaw, moving your tongue away from the roof of your mouth, relaxing your cheek, your forehead. Relax the space between your eyebrows and all the little muscles around your eyes. Let your body melt into the mat. Finding stillness, finding peace. Letting your body just be in this moment. Letting your breath flow naturally, letting your mind wander. When you're ready, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, waking up your body. Begin moving your arms and legs side to side, moving your head side to side. When you're ready, we're going to make our way into fetal position, either on the left or the right, whichever side. Knee over knee, palm over palm, using those hands as a pillow. Taking this chance to thank ourselves for the new beginning we have after each practice. When you're ready, we're going to push ourselves up into a seated position to end our practice. Finding a comfortable position. As we inhale, our hands come up to the sky, palms meeting. As we exhale, we bring our hands down, our thumbs resting at our forehead, reminding ourselves to think our best thoughts. Bringing our thumbs down to our lips, reminding ourselves to speak our best words. And resting with our thumbs at heart center, reminding ourselves to live our best lives. I want to thank you for joining me in this practice today. I hope you all enjoy it. The love, the light, and the strength in me shines through and acknowledges the love, the light, and the strength in you. Namaste. Thank you for joining. Just as a reminder, these classes will end, the live classes will end on July 31st. That will be our last yoga class in a few weeks, but all the recordings are up on YouTube. If you search UL Rock Sports, you can find all of our classes, including all the yoga classes there. Have a great rest of your day.